don't know. What's a jazzier one? Do you ever do? I don't know. Autumn Leaves, or what about just a? Do you want to try Birdland?
Birdland is a pretty deep chasm to fall
into. Did you ever do that one of yours?
Oh, it's not exactly. Two-night road called Fluxology.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty much a complete rip-off of Nashville Sky Thunder. I later realized. Sorry, Bob.
We don't have to.
So it goes. Started to play there is a string pull behind the bar that I learned when I was playing with Emmylou Harris. There was a song called Luxury Liner, and Albert Lee played electric guitar on that record, and he had a string pull but it was much higher.
Strong hand to do that.
Just like a cheese grater.
You want to show them the contraption?
The contraption. So let's. There's a fellow named Dave Borzoff that owns a company called Hip Shot, and the first time I saw anything Hip Shot was on a bass, where he had a thing that he would flip down here on the fourth string of a bass. It would drop drop it the E to a D, and the low E to a low D, and which allowed them to go farther down the scale and play tunes in E. They had tunes in D. Then they had a low D string, and it felt, you know, it filled up the track a little bit better than if he played the D in a different position. So Dave comes up with this thing. Ivan Guernsey, a lot of you know Ivan. He built me a couple of guitars and had what was it called? If you could get more than 2 tunings, it was like 3 tunings out of this thing. But you had to move individual little legs back here, but you could get these different tunings. But then I talked to Dave Borzoff, and he said, I invented this thing one time that you could go from G to drop D, or any, you know, to F, or whatever other tuning you wanted from G. Well, just a flip of one lever, and everything went in tune. But in order to get it to be in tune, your bridge and the nut up here on your guitar have to be, let the strings move, right? Because they'll hang out in a normal bridge. But so we both have these rollers up here, which I actually think make the tone better in my guitar.
I thought so too. It's like a little round brightness, a little sweet. It's nice.
And it's uniform. It's not like, you know, bone is an inconsistent product. We all have them. and they break, or they don't have the same density running through this whole, like even a strip of bone this big, so you might have a dead spot in it because there's a weak spot in it. But this is exactly the same all the way across, so it evens out the tone in your guitar. And there's some things, you know, I've been fighting, trying to get these things heard for years now. You know, I've had every bad pickup system you could possibly have, and have driven some of these guys to invent these things that were terrible, and but they were in advancement, you know. And finally now we have a Fishman rig, and we both use it.
Thanks for doing all that, by the way.
You're welcome. Welcome. I'm the guy that had all the bad tones on the way, but finally we have a pickup system that we can play, you know, in rock arenas and still sound like a dobro instead of a bad lap steel guitar, a cheap imitation. So, but then comes along another contraption like this, and it allows us to have a different range of tunes to play, different kind of tunes to play. Plus, it throws the inversion down one inversion. So my top string is still a D, and my fourth string is still a D, but the bottom string is now, instead of a G, it's a D. So it gives us another place to go in tunes that unless the guitar player is in drop D as well, you have to kind of watch out for those guys. Somebody has to get there first.
That's right, exactly.
And now we can.
Yeah.
But it allows you to play tunes more of a bluesy, puts you in a bluesier place, and also gives you a different set of chords to play with, a lot of suspensions. But you can also turn into a thrash metal musician at the same time, which you love that.
I love that. Roots, those are my roots.
Thrash roots, you can
That's
tell
roots
by
in
our
music.
arms. we come from. But let's, we play something.
Okay.